We know you're a very busy man, so thank you for coming to join us
Pleasure.
this afternoon. You've lived and worked all over the world. You're now here in London. You've only been here a couple of months. How are you settling in?
Yeah, pretty good. As I said, I've been fortunate. In football, it's taken me pretty much around the world, and I've got the easy job really. It's my wife, my family that they're the ones that have to adjust. New schools, new house, and to be fair, I don't get involved too much in that. So, but no, we've all settled really well, and yeah, for me the focus obviously is the work, and club's fantastic. You know, you've had a look around yourselves, and it's a beautiful football club. It's got everything you need, and yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Just going back to what you said about travelling over the world, you moved to Australia at the age of 5 from Greece. Do you have memories of what it was like for you back then? It must have been quite scary moving to a new country, different to what you were used to.
Yeah, no, I guess credit to my parents. I really had all I can remember is having a really happy childhood. Yeah, I don't remember much leaving from Greece. I was 5 years old, so I was obviously very young. And then our life in Australia, I can't remember it being hard. But now as an adult, as a parent, I look back and realise just how tough it was, particularly for my parents. We went to Australia, we had no family, no friends, we were literally refugees, and it was a tough life for my parents. But they made those sacrifices, and I think shielded me in particular and my sister from the hardships that were obviously there. You know, it was a struggle, but you know, thankfully for me, my memories were of, you know, being outside, playing football, playing sport, whatever sport we could, you know, having friends, going to school, all those things that you kind of cherish as a child. I have those memories, but, you know, I guess, as I said, it's only now I realise that it was a very different story from my parents.
And you said that they made some sacrifices there. How would you say they've influenced you in terms of your outlook, how you've approached life?
Yeah, just that. They really made the ultimate sacrifice because, you know, when we talk about refugees, you know, I've said that people talk about refugees going to a new country for a better life, but for my parents, it wasn't a better life. Probably if they stayed in Greece where they had family and friends, whatever struggles they had, they may have coped. But, you know, all I remember is both my mum and dad working, just non-stop, day and night, not having too much of enjoyment in terms of life for themselves. So when you understand that, like I said, I'm a parent now, obviously I'm an adult, you realise that they made the ultimate sacrifice. It stays with you and you want to honour that. You don't want to at any point take that for granted. Where I am today, I'm privileged and blessed because of what my mum and dad did. So you want to pass that on. You know, I learned that the hard work from my father that, you know, compensates for a lot of things in life if you're prepared to work hard, and from my mum, just you know, unconditional love and support. So you carry those sort of lessons with you in life.
Yes, Greek mothers and their love. Do you go back to Greece often?
Yeah, all the time. I love it. You know, it's as I've got older, I feel sort of more Greek than I do Australian, even though I spent, you know, pretty much 50 years of my life in Australia. But yeah, I love the country, I love the food, I love the culture, I love the language. Yeah, so we go back there as a family every year in the summer. And yeah, like you said, Greek mums, the only thing about Greek mums is they tend to raise soft boys because they spoil them too much. So so I had to be rally against that. My dad evened that up for sure.
I have Greek heritage, I'm not sure if you can tell. Going back to Greece, I was born and brought up in London, but the food, the language, the culture, when I do go back to Greece, there's definitely a connection there.
So growing up, watching football, what sort of football left its mark on you? Was it the Premier League? Was it English teams?
Yeah, it was English teams because obviously being in Australia, you know, football wasn't the #1 code. So the only kind of football that we could get nourished on if you loved the game was what was on TV, and the only football they showed at the time was the English, well, showing my age, the First Division. You guys wouldn't know about that. You just know about the Premier League. So there was football before that, and it was the old English First Division. And I was a massive Liverpool supporter, and you know, every week we'd get 1 or 2 hours of English football, and we would just take it all in. You know, that would be our buzz for the week, and a lot of boys and girls, I guess, in my generation anyway, that's the football we grew up on.
Who are your favourite players from that era?
I just had one. Kenny Dalglish was king for me. He was, I just worshipped everything he did. You know, from Celtic to Liverpool for Scotland. Yeah, and then he became manager of Liverpool as well. So he was the one for me.
I've seen a quote from you, joy comes from suffering. And can I ask, is that just a footballing concept for you, or is that a life concept for you?
I think it's not a, you know, you kind of don't want to always extract joy from suffering, but I guess the analogy I wanted to put across was that the game of football, for the most part, we suffer through it, because as supporters, you know, you're always on the edge. You know, you're just waiting for that release. You know.
Yeah, well, with Tottenham, definitely.
Well, yeah, more suffering than joy, but hopefully that changes. You want to balance that up. But it can be about life as well. I mean, sometimes I think in life we want it all to be sort of, you know, joyous and happy, and that's not what life's about. You know, the reason we have joy, the reason we have happiness is because we understand that the opposite also exists. And sometimes, to get the greatest joy, you've got to go through the greatest suffering, you know, whatever it is in life. So there are lessons there, but as I said, hopefully that you tilt the balance to more the joyous moments and the suffering.